Hi there, good afternoon. So, this is our mission live, and the campaign is 5,000 word bank. So, we are going to get rich in the matter of vocabulary, in the matter of communication, in the matter of reflections. So, here we are, and we start in earnest. Hello, everybody. I'm Vinita Vora, a coach, consultant, and even a marketer. And I'm on a mission to help 100,000 students, working, non working professionals, anybody who aspires to work, study, or immigrate to their dream country, dream college, dream land. Yes, the world is beautiful, big, and wide. It needs to be explored. Yes, and the more you travel, the more you learn, the more you're educated. So, if you have this aspiration, you have to write an English proficiency test. And one of the most popular ones is IELTS, though there are others like TOEFL, PTE, Duolingo, and all. But I will concentrate on the vocabulary words and I will mainly refer to IELTS, though this is applicable to all the tests, whether it's TOEFL, PTE, or whatever. Even for your other language tests, it is the protocol now all over the world. Now, English has become a global language. Whenever you write any board exam, any university exam, any entrance exam, any proficiency exam, English is definitely a part of that exam. So, this 5,000 word campaign that I am on will help anybody and everybody. Okay, who wants to learn, who wants to improve, who wants to develop, whoever wants to grow. Okay, so I begin with first three general mistakes. So far, I was talking about section specific. So, three major general mistakes that any IELTS taker makes. So, what are those three mistakes? How can you spot them? And how can you address them? Okay, so that they don't bother you, they detriment you, or they reduce performance. Number one, you don't practice under test conditions. So, any exam that you plan to write in your life, it is very good to have a mock exam. You simulate test conditions during your practices to improve your comfort, to improve your performance. Because once you're thrown into it for the first time, the strangeness may not bring out the best. But once you've taken the practice under exam conditions, simulation we call it, there you are, all set for it. Okay, mistake number two, you ignore feedback and you don't review your mistakes. Number one, while you're preparing. So, what is the solution? You seek feedback from your teachers, from your mentors, from your coaches. And then you must review your mistakes. What's the point of feedback if you're not reviewing your mistakes? It is okay to make a mistake, but to go on making the same mistake again and again is a folly. Okay, so you have to take care and you have to review your mistakes. Mistake number three, you neglect the test day preparation. All the preparation apart, the main test day, you have to be in the best of mental health, in the best of emotional health, in the best of physical health. So you got to make extra preparation, you have to be extra conscious, you have to sleep well, you have to eat well, not overdo anything, and you have to make sure that you are well in time there. Otherwise, I can think of so many cases where my students, when they were going to write their test and it was such a long drawn call that they were under stress conditions, it doesn't bring out your best. So you have to allow time to yourself to prepare in advance. It could be travel arrangements, it could be the required documents. Okay, so here we come to the vocabulary. So now we start with our vocabulary, and today I'm going to talk about words related to culture and advertising. So, what are the words? Some of them initially they will be very simple words, but they have a lot of deeper connotation. They have a lot of wider inference, and you have to bring it out. So, as I take the words up, I will be telling you where it is more applicable, which section of the IELTS exam. So, I can even present my screen to you. Yes, IELTS vocab. So it will help you perhaps if you see the words. Yeah. So here I am. My first word is related to culture. Now, what is culture? You all know what is culture, but no, when you're taking it up, when it comes where somewhere in your topic, it could be your speaking test, it could be your written test. So you have to know the deeper meaning. What is culture? It is the custom, the arts, the social institutions, achievements of a particular nation, people, or a group. So it could be another form, attitudes and behavior characteristics of a particular social group. So that is what comes under the umbrella. It's an umbrella term. What could be the synonyms? It could be your heritage, it could be your tradition, it could be your civilization. So how can we use it in a sentence? Understanding the local culture is essential for effective communication. Okay, particularly as you're learning English. English is a second language to you, okay? Particularly in our country or in many countries of the world, English is a second language. We call it ESL. So you are not born to it. Though the newer generation, many of them are born to it. I personally feel I'm more comfortable with this than any other language. So it doesn't matter. But when you speak this language, you must be abreast of, you must be conversant with the culture of the language you are trying to learn. It could be French, because unless you are aware of the culture, there are finer inferences which you may miss out to you if you are learning a new language. So in the IELTS writing task, at times candidates can be asked to discuss the impact of globalization on the traditional cultures. You know, the cultures as the world is globalization is happening, the intermingling of cultures. As you see the second generation immigrants outside abroad, you see they are quite different. Some of them are in time wrap. They are still thinking India is that what it was 30 years back, 40 years back. But the pace at which Indian society is evolving, so there comes again a gap and a chasm, and you have to be abreast of this. Next is advertising. Now, what is advertising? It could be two things. It is the activity of promoting products, services, or brands through various forms of media to attract and persuade consumers. Or advertising could be a business, an economic of creating and managing advertisements. Now, what are the synonyms for this? It could be marketing, it could be promotion, it could be publicity. Now, what we can use it in a sentence, the role of advertising in shaping consumer behavior is a common topic in the IELTS reading and listening tests. So you may come across this word advertising and it has wider connotations. So what you need to do is you have to analyze advertisements and discuss their effectiveness at times in the writing task. They may ask you to evaluate, give your opinion, talk of advantages, disadvantages. It could come in any context, right? Next comes tradition. Now, it's a long custom or belief that has been passed down from one generation to the other. There's another meaning of this. It could have two contexts. Every word, when it is used in a language, whether written or spoken, it is a game of chess, and the context changes. Grammatically, nouns may become adverbs, adverbs may become adjectives, adjectives may turn out to verbs. So this is the beautiful game of, in English language, where it depends on the context how the word used. So tradition could be the handing down of customs or beliefs from ancestors to the descendants. It could be one generation to other, or from our purvaj, the ancestors, to the descendants. So what is the synonym? It could be custom, it could be ritual, it could be heritage. We are talking of tradition. So example would be traditional ceremonies and festivals are important aspects of cultural identity, often discussed in the IELTS speaking test. The preservation of cultural traditions is the topic that may appear in IELTS writing task 2, particularly in discussions about cultural heritage. So when you are preparing, talk about this topic, prepare your opinion, prepare your point of view, have some clarity about this. So unless you have explored, aware, you will not be able to write a convincing essay, leave alone vocabulary. Okay, next is globalization. It has again two connotations: the process of interaction and integration among people. It could be companies, it could be governments of different nations. It is driven by international trade and investment. Another meaning, it's a worldwide movement towards economic, financial, trade, and communications integration. So, what are the synonyms here? It could be internationalization, it could be global integration, it could be interconnectedness. How do we use it in the sentence? Globalization has led to the spread of ideas, values, and cultural practices. This is a topic which is often explored in the IELTS writing task. So you may be even asked to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of globalization in this test. So these are not steps, they are something which should be aware. And more so for you, you are planning to immigrate, you are planning to represent the country. So you should be all the clear about the basic facts, the right facts, not what you hear on the media. You have to research. You have to know the deeper connotations of these words, of your own culture, before you go out. It's a duty, personally, I feel so. Next is diversity. Now, what is diversity? It's the state or quality of being different or varied. The inclusion of individuals representing multiple ethnicities, cultures, or backgrounds within a group or organization. And what are the synonyms? It could be variety, multiculturalism, inclusivity. Now, these are very, very deeper words. So, embracing diversity fosters what? Innovation. It fosters creativity. So, these are the topics you may be thrown in the speaking test. When you're aware of them, definitely you'll be able to answer in a convincing manner with your own USP, with your own unique experience and idea and your own filters of life. Okay, so next we come to the consumerism. Now, what is consumerism? Consumerism is, yeah, okay. So, what is consumerism? The preoccupation of society with the acquisition of consumer goods and services. Now, this word comes in the economics. I'm giving you a common definition, common meaning. So, it's a theory that increasing consumption of goods is economically desirable, and we are all caught in this web of consumerism. So, the effects of consumerism on the society and environment are the topics which are addressed usually in the listening task, in the reading task. So when you do your comprehensions, come across consumerism. So candidates, you may need to discuss the role of advertising in promoting consumerism in the IELTS speaking test. So you have to know these concepts, these ideas into greater detail. Identity. Now, what is identity? It is not just a word. It is a distinguishing characteristic of or a personality of an individual or a group. Now, identity could be yours singly, individually, or it could be your community identity. Don't we associate the school, we are the alumni of so and so? Don't you associate yourself with some company you're working? Oh, I'm working in Amazon, I'm working in Google. So you become part, you make your identity of a. Then the condition of being oneself or itself and not another. So you see, it has different connotations. What could be the synonyms? It could be selfhood, it could be individuality, it could be character. So identity could be anything, depends how it is being used. So exploring personal identity and cultural identity can be themes in IELTS speaking test. Okay, know in detail, be aware of these wider terms. In fact, my 3CP blueprint, which I take as a theme in all my coachings and consultations, is the 3 C's, the clarity about all these things, clarity inside, clarity outside, not just your career, your confidence, your calling. So you should be very clear about certain things. What are the P's? Your passions, your principles, your profession, you should give it a greater thought. These are the things that call for reflection, that call for brainstorming, that call for research, that call for knowing yourself. Okay, so they are just not words, they go beyond. In IELTS speaking test, candidates, you may discuss background and the experiences when the examiner talks to you. So even in the writing task too, you may be asked to write about relationship between a language and identity. So does language give you identity? Does speaking English give you a different identity? Does talking in Hindi, beautiful Sahityik Hindi, give you a good identity? What kind of identity? So are we looking for identity in the language? Don't you think it calls for a lot of reflection? Next, what is influence? Influence, the synonyms are impact, effect, control, the influence. And again, it has two meanings. The capacity to have an effect on the character development or behavior of someone or something. You influence the character, you influence some situation, you influence something. Or another one could be the power or authority exerted by someone or something. So you see the context. So it is not enough to just take a word, memorize the meaning, and then go blah, blah, blah. No, 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 no. You have to have engagement with each word. You have to know the deeper impact of each word. That is how you learn a language. Not superficially, not on the surface. It's a deeper call. And let it be a slow call, let it be slow and steady. But I would recommend go deeper. These are concepts. And when you're learning English, of the place, of the regions, and it is not just English now, it's American English, British English, Australian English, English of New Zealand, Indian English. So when you speak, there is a dilution, a dissolution of culture mixed into the language. So advertising exerts a significant influence on consumer choices, a topic frequently discussed in IELTS writing task too. So you may be asked to discuss the influence of social media on young people's behavior in IELTS speaking tests. So know about these. Next, we go to the words associated with culture now. I'll take these words. Heritage. What does heritage mean to you? Is it only the legacy? That only inheritance? Does heritage mean tradition? Now, heritage could have again two connotations. Is the heritage in the context of property that is or may be inherited? It could be inheritance, your inheritance, your heritage. It could be property, again material, or it could be cultural traditions, more than the other, or it could be your values, so that have been passed down through generations. The culture, it's a heritage. Okay, so visiting historical sites helps to preserve our cultural heritage. It's a topic that may arise in the IELTS speaking test. So no more than it appears on the surface. So understanding one's cultural heritage can provide insights into personal identity. And this is the theme, this is explored in the IELTS writing task too. So what we are talking today is not just words. We are talking today of ideas, of concepts. It's not just one word, it's in totality, a deeper concept. Then customs. Again, this has two meanings. Number one, the official department that administers and collects the duties levied by a government on imported goods. Try and use the formal English in your written test. Don't use the spoken English. And the two are different. When you speak, you tend to go with the slangs, with the generic language or what is more contemporary. But when you write, you have to be a little formal. Okay, you can't just throw these informalities when you're writing. What is the other meaning? Customs, traditions, or practices that are commonly accepted and followed by a particular group or society. So you see, customs can be in the material world, the taxes levied, or can be your subtle things which you don't see abstract noun here passed down to you. So it could be traditions, practices, and rituals. So sentence would be learning about local customs and etiquette is essential for travelers a topic that can be discussed. What is multiculturalism? It will become a little heavy, so maybe I'll stick to 20 words only. I'll not go beyond 20 today. Multiculturalism. It's the presence or support for the presence of several distinct cultural or ethnic groups within a society. The synonyms are diversity, pluralism, inclusiveness. And what's the sentence? Multiculturalism enriches society by fostering cross-cultural understanding and appreciation. It is a theme which may be explored during your speaking test. So we expect a little depth in you when you expect to get a higher band beyond 7 and above. And that is what my target is. You must be at A2 level of English to be able to read and make short, as short as possible, because then you need just the strategies, how to go about it. Candidates may be asked to write essays on the benefits and challenges of multiculturalism. So as you explore these words, know their deeper connotations. Now, what is folklore? Folklore, let me give you synonyms first. It could be legends, it could be myths, it could be traditions. So what's the meaning? The traditional beliefs, customs, stories, songs, dances of a culture preserved among people. So you see, folklore is not just one folklore, not just a story. Through that folklore, what are we coming across? The beliefs of a time, of a period, history, customs, the stories. It could be songs, it could be dances, it could be culture, it could be anything that is preserved by the people. So folklore provides insights into the values and beliefs of a society, a topic that may be discussed in IELTS speaking when exploring cultural identity. So, and it is fun to bring on these topics. Really, it is fun to bring. That's what we would pick up in the IB. So that is what they take up in IB board. They talk of concepts. We take concepts and then we develop them through different modes, and it is fun, wonderful. Next word, cultural exchange. The interchange or sharing of cultural values. So when you go abroad, there'll be a cultural exchange. You are an identity, a factory of some tradition, some beliefs, some culture. When you go there, there will be interaction. You can't live in isolation. So there happens a cultural exchange, which is more often than not encouraged today because it creates better understanding, better appreciation. I've been a part of cultural exchange, Indo-Canada cultural exchange, when I was a student. That was way back, and it was a 6-month exchange program and an eye-opener. Cross-cultural exchange, synonym, it could be diplomacy, it could be intercultural communication, any kind of exchange. So these cultural exchange programs promote mutual understanding and cooperation between nations, and theme this is addressed in the speaking test. So you may be asked to talk about the benefits of cultural exchange or promoting global harmony. This could happen in writing task 2. Now, the time where am I? Okay, it is already 23 minutes. So today I have to cut short my target of 25 words. Definitely not. I have covered already 15 words. I have my numbering there. I'll take 2 words more. It's already 23 minutes. And then I'll stop the day today. One is branding. It's the process of creating a distinctive name. You guys are all brand conscious. I'm sure you know the meaning of branding, but just have know about its deeper connotation, because you may get this in writing task 1. Effective branding is essential for establishing a strong market presence, attracting customers. You may be asked to analyze this branding strategies even in the listening test. There may come up topics related to it. Then commercial. What is commercial? It could be advertisements, it could be ads, it could be promotions. So today in this TV and media world, you all know what is commercial. So this could be discussed in the listening test, and it may come up in your speaking test too. Persuasion. It's the act of influencing somebody. The synonyms are influence, convincing, coercion. It's a very good word. You can use coercion. Okay. So advertising employs persuasive techniques. In fact, this is Now that you're all familiar with chat GPT, it tells you of the tone, and one of the tones is persuasion. So where is this tone employed? Mainly in advertising, in marketing, in promoting. So persuasive, that is how it comes from. It could happen, but may come to you in writing task 2. You may be asked to discuss the ethics of persuasive advertising even in your speaking task. Are there any ethics involved? Should we have them? Should we not have them? Things like that. Next is promotion, activity of publicizing a product. It could synonyms could be marketing, advertising, campaign, sales promotion. This again comes to you as a topic in IELTS reading test, and of course in the listening test too. And the last word of the day is consumer behavior. Now this is a very economic term, but consumer behavior means purchasing behavior. It could be buyer behavior. It could be market behavior. And this can be addressed as a topic in IELTS writing task 2. It may come up in your speaking test task also. So understanding consumer behavior is essential for effective advertising campaigns. Deep psychology studies are undertaken before the marketing decisions are taken. So now it's a deep science in itself. So if you are from psychology, you will know what it means more. So with this, I end my live cast today. The campaign is 5,000 words vocabulary bank. Let us become rich in the vocabulary word bank. And I'll see you again same time tomorrow. And Sunday, I'll bring you a nice surprise again. Somebody related to a different culture or a deeper culture. So happy and happening day to you all. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.